kick us off.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Creative Genius. We are interviewing people, movers, shakers in the metaverse, specifically working on learning experiences. And we have today with us Andrew Wright, who is iTeacher in the metaverse. And he is working within the Verbella Frame platform, creating worlds. We just want to really touch base with you, Andrew, because you have been doing so much. I love to see people just taking off their own creativity, ingenuity, and building stuff, not just talking about stuff, but actually manifesting this in reality. So introduce yourself to us a little bit, and then we're going to go on an adventure in the metaverse today.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Andrew Wright. I'm iTeacher. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to speak to other educators. Yeah, so I started creating the metaverse when we went in the EDUmetaverse, as it is, when we went into lockdown back in September, I think, and it just grew from there. Really, I just realized that we couldn't keep using Zoom, and the students had Zoom fatigue, so we looked for something else, and then it just started. I built one world, and now you're looking in the second you'll see it. It's sort of grown to 35 plus worlds, and
Oh, wow.
we're still going. So it's yeah, so it's very, very cool.
Yeah. Can I ask how you found the metaverse space? You said it happened during lockdown, but can you take us on that journey of, oh, this isn't working, to what about this?
Yeah, we just sort of jumped in, and everybody had to do the Zoom thing, and because that was the only way to do it at the time, and realized that there was a real sense of disconnect for the students, and they were really just not listening. Some of them had managed to actually take a picture of themselves listening, and then that was up on the screen. So we realized all the trick of that, which was genius. So those are the ones that are going to make loads of money later on. But those little geniuses, we realized that we had to do something. So I looked, first of all, originally I found a program called Spatial, which was brilliant. And I loved it. And I built the entire metaverse in Spatial until I realized that the avatars that came with it, because I work primarily with junior school students, the avatars look like adults. And we had these kids with their actual faces on adult bodies. I was like, this is not happening. And I begged and pleaded Spatial. And I think at that time they were going in a different direction. So I sort of had to say to them, I love what you're doing, but I can't use this with my students. And then I looked around and I found Frame, and Frame has these avatars that you'll see in a moment, which are just literally non-generic and could just be robots and stuff like that. And that was perfect. And so the great thing about Frame is when I found that, we could lock it to our institutions. We were able to add passwords to everything. And it was literally just the answer to all of the stuff that I was looking for. So yeah, that's how it sort of came about. And I was one day just jumping around in one of the frames, and I went online to the helpline. I said, how does this happen? And then Gabe, who's the creator, was just in there with me. And I was like, wow, this is just insane. And that was it. It was just like a love affair from there. So it's grown from that point.
So it also became your labor of love as well as what you did for service, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a labor of love. I mean, I wouldn't have put so much time into it. I mean, to be fair, I was in lockdown, so I had the time.
Right.
But I realized that once I'd started, the actual fact that I just love doing it, and I think once we started to show it to the students, and I talk about that later on, you just heard them squealing when they went in, and they were like so excited. It's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, and that was the key. And I think from there, it was like they'd say things like, "What's next?" We're doing First Fleet next year. Can we do that? And it's like, okay. So I went away and I was just constantly building stuff on their recommendations and on our previous lessons that had been really good, or that had worked really well. So most of the worlds are geared around something like that. That's how they come about.
Awesome. Now I do have a question about those parents. How is that getting them into playing this game as well, or allowing the kids to play the game in this new space?
I think there's definitely a delineation between game and this. I think the elements of the game, purely for us, we wanted to move away from it being gamification. There's a lot of stuff that's already doing that. You've got Roblox, you've got Minecraft, and that's great. They're all amazing. The kids love them. So my thing was to get that sort of same idea, same concept, but to be doing it in a purely educational environment, to retain that sense of I'm inside a world, but still keep the optimum amount of educational content in there. If that makes sense.
Yes. And you're live, right? It's definitely all happening live.
Yes, the lessons happen in real time. So it's exactly like a Zoom call, except everybody's present in the moment. And I think that's the powerful thing, that the presence in the moment, and that you're part of something. And then we'll have like 35 students all in one world with the teachers.
Oh wow! So is it all remote?
Yeah. We have so when we went into lockdown, everybody was coming on from their own Wi-Fi,
Right.
so they
Gotcha.
were able to join from home. So we had at one point there was a session where we had a beekeeper come in, so she was able to talk inside that world. She was nowhere near us, but she came in and answered questions and stuff like that. So we were able to bring experts from outside into
I
these
love
virtual
it.
worlds.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's just another look. This is what I imagine Education 3.0 to be. The fact that it's learning anytime, anywhere from anyone,
Right.
and this is as close as we're going to get. And we've never had a pivotal moment, and Web 3.0 is going to allow us to do that. And it's very, very exciting,
Right.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Where do you see, so do you think that you'll always be in frame? Because you were talking about spatial. Spatial is also in virtual reality. Where are you with that? The virtual reality versus the screen metaverse
Yeah, I mean,
access?
so when I design and I build, primarily it's always for the screen, because I don't have 35 headsets. And if anybody's out there and you'd like to let us have 35 headsets, you know where I am. But like
There
at
you
this
go.
point now, it's basically all, that was my little plug. It's all designed around the web. So because that's what everybody's got. And the fact is that the amazing thing about this is that you just drop in through a link and you're there. So
Right.
whatever the link we've got, whatever I've set it up, that's the link. To click it, you're in, and there's just no messing around. And so that's incredibly powerful.
Any screen, right? Because I get on my cell phone all the time.
Yeah. So cell phone, iPad, browser, you name it. If you've got a browser on your device, you're in, and that for us is invaluable. It's that
Now,
learn
question for
anywhere,
you.
anytime. Hmm.
You can pretty much custom design any world that you want to be in. How's that work?
Yeah,
Ready?
pretty much. I mean, so it came about when we first started. You can just take the bog standard worlds that come with frame, spatial, whatever, but you can actually use something like Blender, which is what I've used to create a lot of the worlds, and then you import those as a file, and then the world is built around that.
Oh,
So that's how I built them, and I literally just taught myself Blender on YouTube. And when I wanted to and I needed to, I reached out to the community and just badgered everybody until they started helping. It was sheer force of will, really, that when I couldn't do something, I'd ask somebody else, and I just reached out and just said, "Look, I'm doing this." And I always play the teacher card, because being a teacher, it's like you feel that why shouldn't teachers and why shouldn't educators be getting that sort of help? It's
right,
like, you know what,
right.
I'm not a developer, I'm not a content creator. I've taught myself how to do it, but I'm doing this for a really good cause. Can you help? And nearly everybody was like, "Yes, I'll get in there and jump in and help you." So, and that's
Yeah,
that's amazing. That just shows you the strength of the community, and the fact that you hear so much bad press about the net and everybody's online being a troll. It's not true.
not true at
So many
all.
good people out there. It's not true
Right,
at all. And you can believe the hype, but most of the people I've met have just been absolutely amazing and gone above and beyond trying to help us what I've done.
right,
So
right.
Now, you said that you just got in. What about the other teachers that were at the same school that you were? How are they adopting to it, and what's their excitement level or integrated into the
well,
space now?
we're really, yeah. So I've got one. I'm going to mention her name, Mrs. Byrne, who has just been an absolute angel. She's just been amazing. She has been with me from the beginning, and it's her class that tested everything. It was her class that dropped everything to jump into a world. And I said, "Oh, I made a new one." Bush, they were all in there. And Miss Stevens. And there's a couple of teachers. So we've got a foundation of maybe two or three teachers who are really keen, and they're the ones that are carrying it. They're going to be the ones that are going to become the ambassadors. They're going to be the ones that are going to try it and then push it out to their year group. So what we'll do is we'll start it small, and then through time push out gradually. So what we've done with my school is that we've given everybody a little classroom. They've all got their own little virtual classroom. We also have a hall, a gym, a performance space. There's a football field. There's a Zen garden you can go and meditate in. So I've created, hopefully, an entire ecosystem of sort of a whole scope of rooms for them to be able to use as part of this, what I consider it to be the hybrid classroom model.
Wow,
The
wow,
real and the physical and the virtual running symbiotically. That
wow.
makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Emily,
Now,
I know.
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Em.
But it
So I was
goes,
going to say, I just
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
I've ever seen it.
Let's jump into the
Yeah.
into the.
Yeah. Okay. You want to have a look? So
Okay,
you guys are going to share, right? And I'll just wander around.
yeah, let's go. We're gonna go into Frame. So if you're watching this and you want to pop in, this is framevr.io. And when you go there, Andrew's world is EDUmetaverse. That's what he's building. So you should be able to see it now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see us. I can't see you because otherwise my brain would explode by being in the metaverse and then in a second metaverse. So I don't have the mental capacity to keep staring at 3 screens. But yes, this is it. This is if you have a little look around, you can feel free to have a little look around. There's 35 worlds in here, and this is like Frame's exhibition center. So I've added in content. So all of the little spaces that you can see, they are worlds that you can go and visit.
30 plus rooms. You have been busy, sir.
Some people
busy.
would call it obsessive, but yeah.
The best artists are. Yeah,
a little bit mad. That's what they say, right? I think so this is, you can see there's we've got ancient Egypt. Obviously I'm based in Australia, so we have Uluru. There's a lot of literacy worlds. There's one that's set in Antarctica, which is pretty cool. You can go and do some it's sort of to mirror like an Antarctic research station. We've got worlds on
really
cyber
neat.
safety. Yeah, you can just there's just so much stuff. Like I've got a little speaky area here. This is like a digital version of myself waffling on. If you can see that on the stand, I'm not quite sure what you guys are looking at, but to your right, I think there you go. There's myself and my metaverse self.
And you brought yourself in as an object, right?
That's a lot younger version. And a bit more trendy as well. It's a very trendy version of me.
So again, you were using Blender. Blender is a free software. That's what I love too. My daughter uses it as well for NFTs and stuff like that, but it's free. You learn how to make objects and environments, and then you can literally take them anywhere. A lot of platforms allow you to bring them in. So that's awesome, you guys standing next to each other. Okay, so I'm going to ask you really quickly.
He's taller and better looking than me. I'm not going to get rid of him.
So what's your favorite experience, do you think?
Anything where the students are involved is always magical. And I say that, and I don't put that lightly. I'm not saying that like with any hyperbole. Those sessions are just amazing because I know, having watched them through Zoom and watched them through lockdown, I watched the disconnect. I watched them just lose that connectivity with each other. And once we started putting them in here, you could hear them come back to life. And that sounds crazy, and it sounds really sort of like I'm really just bigging it up, but it wasn't. It was a real sense of coming home, a real sense of community. They could see each other. They could drop in. They were able. And there were times when throughout the day I just left it on. And then somebody would bing, they'd pop in, they go, "Hey, Mr. Wright, what about blah, blah, blah?" And I'd be like, yeah, just try that. And then ping, they'd go and they'd come back. So there was a really amazing dynamic happening between myself, the teacher, the class, and the students themselves. And what I felt was really fantastic is that and I've got it over here, and it is a bit of I look at it and I think to myself, whenever I feel like and what am I doing? It's this crazy days. But then if you can follow me over here, I'll show you. And it is a little bit of a heavy tissues.
Excuse me, sorry, I had to jump over the mummy. But
oh my god, don't do that, you get cursed. So I just like when they wrote their little things and they said all these really lovely stuff. And one of the other students had written, and I think it's over by the Everest world, which I'll show you in a minute. And it just says, like, thank you so much for what you've done. It really made a difference. I've started building my own worlds. And at that point, I just realized what we got. And I was like, now that they're starting to create their own content, and we're inspiring them to go on and become the next creatives. And I can't put a value on that. And it sounds like I'm being very, very dramatic, but I'm passionate about what I do. Obviously, I wouldn't have done 35 worlds, but to watch them to start building their own, you just know these are the kids that are going to become the makers of the next metaverse or the next whatever. It's very special. Very special.
That creativity you're bringing to them, right? They're curious, but they're also creative. Imagination going into reality.
What's going to be the thing? And you know, I'm going to upset a lot of people here by saying it won't be maths and literacy. It's going to be creativity.
Creativity,
I mean,
yes.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about you knowing your basic maths and your literacy. That's an obvious. That's a no-brainer. But I'm talking about down the line, further on. What's the one thing we don't nurture very much at school is creativity.
Creativity,
And
yeah.
you look, every single job that you can go into will have some element of that. And I 100% believe that that's something that we need to be pushing. And that's hopefully what happens in these worlds when they come in. They don't just absorb them, they go away and they add to them, or they go and create them, or it's their ideas. And they'll say, hey, you know, why don't we have a world about ancient Egypt? But we could put this in and we could put that in. And what you've done, Mr. Wright, I'd like to add this. And it's like, let's do it, you know?
Yeah,
Limited
absolutely.
by our imagination and theirs. And that's the only limitation. I think that's incredible.
That's the best part about human expression is there's such diversity in what we can create because we have access to that imagination. So I'm 100% on with you. All right, let's jump in a world. Yeah.
All right, which one do you want to? Do you want to go to the Antarctic, or I'll take you to this one. This is one of my I love this one. This is, I don't know if you can see where we are now. This is the world I've featured at the moment. You can see the seagulls flying around.
Oh, beautiful.
This is the Explorer, which is basically a ship inside the frame. So at the moment, it's currently docked in Antarctica. So what I've tried to do is create a thread or a narrative throughout all of the worlds that are sort of linked in some way. So from this one, if the Explorer is in Antarctica, you jump off the ship and you're at the research station. Later on, this ship, the story, and all of these worlds have some sort of element of story behind them or a narrative. So, for example, this world later on will change and it will become the Explorer in the Amazon basin. So I'll show you how that works in a second. So if you just literally, if you're simply just clicking on it, and if it just says go there or link, can you see that?
Now, when you say that they're all clicked, it's like little portals, right? In each world.
They're all portals, yeah. So what happens is that you and I will both, you'll both appear on the deck. So you should, it'll say just connect, and then you and I will be on the deck of the Explorer. Mine's already, there you go, push connect, and you'll be able to hear, I don't know if it's too loud, I can switch it off. This, we use a lot of spatial sound, a lot of audio.
Here, so I can turn around and see appropriately. Woo!
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah, so this is where we are, and I've got a little pointer. I can use the pointer. If you turn to your left, you can see me using my pointer, which is basically like a laser that comes out of my eyes. So this is hypothetically to immerse them completely. We say, here you are. This is the Antarctic. If you click on that, you'll go to Google Earth, and you'll be able to look at the environment.
Oh,
if you
wow.
want to go ashore, yeah, you can just do that. You can click on the boat. There's a little bell by the side of you on your right hand side. There's a little bell, and
Wait,
you can
hold
click
on.
on the boat. Yep. So to your right, there's a little bell. So click on that, and you can go on shore.
Okay.
So I'll come with you. So they're all. You can get the idea that they're all sort of linked. This will take you to the Antarctic Research Station, which is a fake research station, but I can show you one of the other things that we do to make it immersive. If you turn to your left, there's a penguin, so watch out, they'll bite.
Oh, no, they did.
Take your arm off. Keep coming to your left. So here you can see how what I do is I incorporate Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I don't know if you can, if I play that, you'll be able to see the video plays, and this is all green screen, and then I'll take the plane up around the Microsoft Flight Simulator plane, which has got my logo on it, and basically it flies off. You can unplug it. You can it's individual sounds. So if you want to put the sound on, you just have to click the little thingy button. I don't know what it will sound like on the actual video itself.
And Andrew, you're echoing right now, so if you'll just mute while you're in the
Yes,
room
sorry,
speaking.
sorry about that. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's all. Because we're on two different platforms at
sorry.
the same. And then I'm going to go ahead and play.
Yeah. This is me completely nerding out on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I don't know if you can hear the sound.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is me flying over Antarctica. So we get that sort of immersion there with actually being using the plane to sort of get them to the sense that they're actually there. And then this is a sort of research station that when you go out through the door, you're actually on the Antarctic ice.
Wait, hold up. Did you say this is you flying this
Yeah.
plane IRL?
Yeah. No,
That-
in a flight simulator.
Oh, okay.
So I wish. Oh my goodness, I wish. So this is so what I'm trying to do is incorporate lots of different mediums. So in a second, you can see that when you see an external view of the plane, it's got the logo on it and stuff. And I've sort of made the logo on the plane, so it looks like it's a real plane. So it's that immersion thing, really.
So you are, wait a minute, because now we have to look at all the different levels of
Yeah,
different
there's a lot of
platforms you're
levels.
using. So one of them, obviously you're in a green screen in the bottom corner, right?
Yeah,
Is
that
that a
does
green
look pretty
screen?
realistic. Yes, green
Okay,
screen.
yeah. And then what you're using, is that Blender or is that another
No,
platform?
this is Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is just a little program. Obviously, not a little program. It's a very complicated flight simulator. But I sort of will go to different locations. So if we have a world that features a different location, I'll fly around it and bring that into the frame as a video.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
So there's a
Okay.
lot of worlds within worlds. But yeah, if you want to come outside, mind the penguins because they are a bit vicious.
I am going to be geeking out on this a lot. I'm going to just come in and play.
You are more than welcome to go through and have a little look.
Okay.
So if you come with me, you can follow me over the ice floe. There are lots and lots of penguins, but they won't do very much. There's a helicopter around the corner. They're normally hanging out by the helicopter. The cool thing about this one is I move the penguins every other week, so the kids come in and find them all over again, and they're always in different positions. You can go through here.
I can just imagine 35 students in here, just running around and just that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's been an issue with this, and I can show you because what's happened is that when Frame did an update, they reversed all of the actual models. So I can show you how this works. If you are looking at the fireplace where it is, you see the fireplace by the TV?
Yep.
At the moment it's locked. If I unlock it, I can actually rotate it back around to where it was before.
So there is some maintenance that's needed with these worlds. It's not set it and forget it.
Not normally, but if they do an update and they've moved everything, like maybe they've rotated the original worlds, it can be a bit of a pain because then everything's backwards like this. So for somebody who's only got one world, doesn't really matter. When you've got 35, that's an issue. But that's only ever happened once, and I haven't got around to actually replacing this one. So I can just do it now. But it gives you an idea of how it works. Like all the bunk beds are backwards, so I can put the bunk beds back the right way. The kids love this one because they come in and they're all on the beds and they're like, "Yeah, I'm having a break. It's downtime." I'm like, "Have you finished all your work?" And they're like, "No, we're just having to."
Can they actually lay down?
No, but they just get on it and stuff. They just
Oh,
it's all make believe, isn't it? Like, and again, that goes back to that creative process that they're fully immersed in the world. Like they'll say, "Oh, I'm having a break." I'm like, "We haven't done anything. So what are you having a break for?" And they're like, "Oh, because hectic."
Oh, look, the coffee cup too.
Yeah, there's a coffee cup there, and you can actually pick up that sort of stuff. If what we can do is allow the users to be able to pick up stuff. So in a world like this one, I leave it off because I find coffee cups on penguins' heads, penguins in beds, TVs upside down, and so so some of the worlds, if you come back out again, are I'm going to go up to the top of the hill. So you can just walk through the models that are put in through Blender are solid. The models that are added in afterwards, I've purposely made them so you can walk through them. Makes it easier. And so I used 360 panoramas to create the idea, and that's it.
Now, a lot of this stuff, is it free access to models or imagery or things online?
A lot of the stuff I build myself, but a lot of stuff I'll take from Sketchfab. I always find stuff that's Creative Commons that I can just, if at any point it takes off and people start buying worlds or they start whatever, then it's always going to be okay because it's all Creative Commons, or I've built it myself, basically.
And I do want to talk about that before we go. I'll save a bit of time because I want you to be able to market, because these are real products and services. They're not like on the blockchain or anything yet, but right now they are available. So let's talk about that. I do want to hear, though, about some of the challenges as well in running this world, okay? Because it's always good to know the balance of it. Whenever you have something new, it's not utopia right away. It's it's a progress. So tell us a little.
It was an interesting, I mean, I had the idea that I had in my head was way beyond my technical capabilities, and it still is. I've learned enough to know that I can do this, I can do that, and I can maybe reach out to other people if I need to. But probably technically, taking the worlds like frame, spatial, whatever you're using, probably already comes with a whole bunch of stuff. And for the majority of people, that's all you need. I mean, it's a classroom, there's stuff like that. It wasn't really enough for us because if I wanted to, my idea was I didn't want to just recreate my working environment.
Right.
You know, I can go to my working environment when I can go home. Why would I want to go back into it? I've already got a working environment. I don't want to be back in the classroom. I want to be on Antarctica. I want to be wherever. I want the kids to be wherever. And we've got one that's like a plane, and they go on the plane, and then we'll drop off in Antarctica. So it's all linked. And I thought So a lot of people say, "Oh, let's rebuild our building. Let's rebuild our physical version of that and have that." What do you want to do that for?
Right.
You can already go to your physical version. It's like most people are jack of their office. They don't want to go back to it, you know. So let's have your meeting on Antarctica. Let's have your meeting on Mars. I mean, it's just a mindset, I think, and that's changing. But technically, and to go back to your original question, sorry, was the challenging part was actually when I started to push what I could do. That's when I started to find the technical, because Blender is not easy. If you've ever used Blender, and I've got a friend called Yenchus who basically has helped me a lot, and I'll mention his name. He's big in this, doing a lot of stuff. And he said to me, and I'll never forget, and I met him the first time, and he said, I want to start using Blender, which is great, by the way, if anybody from Blender's listening, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be able to do it without it. He said to me, "Oh, good luck," he said, "you'll be stepping on the husks of all the dead people that have come before you." And I was like, "Really? Is it that bad?" And he was like, "Imagine that you wanted a spoon in a house that wasn't your house, but there was a drawer within a drawer within a drawer that said spoons that took you to another drawer where you could take out the spoon and there were a million different spoons." He said, and that in a nutshell is probably where you're going to be. And he was right. It was a bit like that. So, but having said that, I don't think you need to know, you could live about 1,000 lifetimes and never know all of it, but you just need to teach yourself what you need to know and away you go. So I wouldn't let that put anybody off. I mean, literally, I'm probably the dimmest person you've ever met, and I managed to teach myself how to do it. So it's doable, but if I can do it, you can do it.
Well, here's the wonderful thing, too, is when we think about where we're going with the non-fungible tokens, right? Those could be objects, they could be worlds, they could be everything. So even if you're not the expert, you can curate your own worlds using the objects that maybe the students build. You know, my daughter built a donut. It did take her about 3 days to make that donut in Blender. I'm just learning it, but then she's like, "I have a donut." And I'm like, yes, now that's an object somebody else could have value for, right? They may want to incorporate 100%. It. So, yeah. So are your students? You said your students were already creating as well. Are they making their own worlds, or
they are on their own? Like obviously, Frame is free. It's in beta at the moment, so it's a free version. So a lot of the students saw what we were doing, and then went home and started an account, and then started building their own worlds.
Yeah.
So I don't have any jurisdiction on that, and I'm like if you ask your parents if it's fine, away you go, and they've started building their own. But what's great, what we've got happening next term is that everybody 4, 5, and 6, every student gets their own 5-person frame, so they will all, with training, be able to start creating. So now, I think that's going to be very powerful.
Is there a limit on how many students you can have in one world at a time?
Yeah, I think at the moment, and technically, I don't work for Frame. I mean, those guys are amazing, and but I don't work for them, so I think it's 100.
Oh, really?
But it's about 100, and I think they're working on way more than that. But obviously, it's early days, and I think once they start to get to sort of a point where you can have more people in there, I mean, we don't need any more than 35. So right. A lot of the worlds that I've got are 35, maybe 5 or 10 or 15. You can choose. The bigger worlds of 100, I'd probably never ever use. So
Right.
But the holds, like you said, like if it was a school assembly or like a presentation, like
yes,
the Shakespeare performance,
yeah,
they could go and all attend and bring their parents and
yes.
you know, have different rooms for everything. So that is absolutely fabulous. Now we could be in here forever, and I really do, Andrew, want to geek out like crazy. We spend a lot of time. I'm like your students. I'm like, oh,
we
this
can, we
is
can
so
go.
awesome.
We can go to one of the igloos if you want and have a chat.
Yeah, but I do want you to talk about how you are bringing this, what you've created, to others, because there are people that are curious about the metaverse space, but they don't know where to start. They don't know where to go. You are offering a bunch of services and products. Tell us a little bit about that and how they can get in contact with you as well.
Yeah. So once it started, so obviously my base school, who's been supportive from the very beginning, everything that I have is theirs. But everything that I've made is also available to anyone that would want to buy one of these worlds. So you don't have to make it yourself. You can go to www.edumetaverse.com.au and you can have a look. There's also a company called Octosmos, which is basically going to be marketing the worlds. So for me, what I'm hoping to do is to be able to, if a school says we want this as a package, we want Frame as a package, we can bundle it all up as something along those lines. So maybe a Frame account and then some worlds, or they can pick and choose some worlds. It's very early days, but yeah. So my hope is that what I would love to offer is the ability as a consultant to work with teachers on building their own frames and to teach them how to do that and to be part of that process. And that is 100% available. You can just contact me on the links I guess we'll put somewhere. And that is I'm more than happy to do that. There is no big company. iTeacher is just me and the dog. There's nobody. And she needs feeding, so she needs food. So at some point, I mean, I've not at the moment. I've not taken a penny for this. But it's very early days, and now's the time to start marketing it. So
Very high value. Yes, this is definitely
I hope
worth
so.
a
I'd
lot.
love a hot tub.
Well, that's the whole thing is as educators start using the 3.0 and the metaverse space, it also allows them to have, you know, to get on the marketplaces and to provide value and supplement their incomes or transition into, you know, being independent educators and creators and all of that as well.
Yeah, and I would be more than happy to show anybody around, like I'm showing you guys around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm often in there somewhere. Just come and have a visit. It doesn't cost you anything to come and have a look. And I think once you see it, you'll start to see, wow, you could do this and you could do that, and it will start to fire off your imagination. And yeah, obviously, eventually, it'd be nice to make some money from it, or just a living, or a ticket along. Really, I'm not. Money's never. This is going to sound like I'm being crazy. Money's never been the driving force.
Right.
I didn't start this to make $1 million. I started this because I think, and I'm passionate about education, and it started from that seed of we need to do change, we need to make change. That's where it started. That's where I am at the moment, and I can't. And I'm not just saying that because listen to him. It's the truth. I'm passionate about what I do. I want to see that change, and we deserve that change. So but if I can make some money off the back of it, then amazing. That would be a very nice plus.
I think many educators share your view. I mean, it is a profession of passion, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I do believe that you're going to find a lot of educators that are the same. I'm going to pop into the Eduverse real quick just to go back.
Yeah, you go to the go-to one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? I need to change that link. So just push the back button. This is you've gone, I think what that is because I haven't changed this for a while, is the old metaverse. So I will change that link for you to be. It's a good little pickup you found for me there. Try that. Try the go-to button now.
That quick, you were able to change it too. Look at that.
Oh,
quick
I'm fly. I'm telling you. I'm fly. Don't hang about.
There we go.
I mean, and all of these worlds, you come in, and it literally is as simple as you walking around with the W, the S, the A, and the D keys, and your mouse to sort of move you around. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
so I mean, I just want to make sure to oops.
Thank you.
Yeah, that we show your information, and then when we post this on LinkedIn, you are on LinkedIn as well, because that's where the majority of our community is right now.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people find us on LinkedIn as Andrew Wright and as iTeacher. Also, the EDUmetaverse is on there as well. So this is my iTeacher website, and I've also got a edumetaverse.com.au website which has access to everything, including getting in touch with me if you'd like to buy one.
Okay. So yeah, so it goes to
Yeah,
your
there's
website.
the link. There's the link there. Yeah, and they're both links. So you can go to EDUmetaverse by clicking on the little planet in the left corner.
There we go. Okay, wonderful. So we'll put these in LinkedIn as well, all of your connections.
Thank you.
We'll make sure that you're in the Educators for Web 3.0 space, because again, I am always blown away when I see your work. And it just shows, here's the thing, like you said, Andrew, it just shows that this is an organic, you know, inside out kind of build that we're all doing here. We don't have to wait for Meta to get set up and then go to the institutions or government and say, here, you guys use this for education. It's individual educators, it's passionate people, artists, even the kids now getting in. So
100%. And you know, and I think that's so important, because I think the perception of the metaverse is very much NFTs, making money, blah, 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 blah. And look, all power to, if anybody's doing that, do not get me wrong. If that's your gig and that's what you're doing, fair play to you. But my worry is that people start to see that as what the metaverse actually is. And who even knows what it is at the moment, right? Because education needs to get a slice of this. We need to get in on the ground floor. And that's what I'm trying to do. We're in now. This is the metaverse for education. Not this is like, you know, but this is part of the educational metaverse. I've called it EDUmetaverse, but obviously make your own metaverse. Become part of something massive. And education needs to claim a stake in this. Otherwise, it will become NFTs and you name it, whatever. But and that's all power to it. But I think we really need to get a foothold in the metaverse. Absolutely. And that's only going to happen if other educators start actually building on top of it and claiming it.
Absolutely. And I think like exactly like you said, there's little communities all over the place that are doing this. And then we can all sync up and become this, you know, metaverse of all these different education focused communities. It's like we're building little cities, and then we just got to get the rails to connect us all.
That's exactly right. And that rail is just a link.
Yes.
It's just a hyperlink, you know, and away you go. And yeah, it's very early days, and I sometimes I feel like it just took off as I was building it. And I actually weirdly I started building it before Facebook changed its name to Meta, before it was really actually a thing that was out there. And then as I was building it, that happened, and I was like, wow, this is what I'm doing. This is so maybe I hit the point right at the, you know, at the right time. So nice to have some luck, but we'll see. But yeah, it's all linked. You can go to Facebook. Actually, funny, following us on Facebook, I've got so much stuff on Facebook, so much videos and stuff on YouTube. There's so much stuff. Yeah, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, it's all there. I'm all grammed up. I'm like a young person.
That's awesome though, that you got all connected, and again, it's just you playing little bit by little bit, and you keep going. You're even on Discord, dude. Look at you.
I'm pretty fly for an old guy. Join that Discord. Come along. Join the Discord. It's there. I don't really know what it is, but I've got Discord, and you can come along. And I actually put a lot of the new stuff that I'm making is on the Discord channel. You can come and have a look at it and stuff. And look, I will say, like, for anybody that wants to get in touch if you want to have a chat. I'm always around, like, you know, and if I've got time, I'll take the time to talk to anybody that is interested. The only way to get it out there is to share it, and the only way to do that is to put yourself out there and be willing to show it to other people and tell them what's what. And I'm more than happy to do that. And thank you so much for having me, because, you know, getting the word out there and it all helps. And so thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we want to do, is continue to share and you know, like you said, this is us. You know, it's us passionate things that are saying education could be so much more than it is. And we return to the learner. Let's return to the learner. And Yeah, I just love that Web3 is all about community. It's really about collaboration, not competition. We're making it up as we go. And there's this mindset that it really is that learning together, creating together, collaborating together, and the abundance is going to come. I mean, it's like the beginning of the internet. We don't have to worry about that as much as what do we stand for when everybody else comes? What are they going to find when they get to the metaverse?
Exactly. And I will say that if they do come, I have got lots of people like, oh, it's never been used in the classroom. But if you come and look, there's lots of videos and stuff of us actually using it. I don't know whether if you can come back in, you can see to the just click on the visit the metaverse. There's a little button down the bottom, I think. You can come back in. So scroll down a little bit. No, keep coming down a little bit. There's a little visit the metaverse button. Scroll back up. Keep going, keep going. There's there
right
you go.
here.
Visit. Yep. So you click on that one, you can come in. So when you come in, I'll show you because I've actually added in lots of videos. So if you turn to your left, there's a video there of us actually using it for math. You call it. I can never get used to saying math. It's always going to be maths, I'm afraid. Maths, yeah. So we call it maths, and basically this is a video. You can have a look. We're teaching grid references. And you can actually hear the kids in here. You can hear me. If you put the sound on, you should be able to hear it. This is them actually. I'm teaching a lesson here of grid references. So we use what's called Maths Island, and we put this map up. And what they're doing, you can see the whole class here running around, trying to find grid coordinates. I've actually dropped in here. They're pointing to where they think the treasure is, and then I'll lift it up, and there it is. So then I kick everybody out, and then I rehide the chest. You can see them all disappear. One by one, they'll all disappear because I've kicked them all out. I move the chest, rechange. You'll see here, I actually rechange the coordinates on the tree. I've buried it now. There you go. I'm moving the coordinates. And then when they'll come back in, they have to go and find it again. So
they have a map?
They've got there on the map. There's a map there. Look on the tree. They can see the map and they'll go away. You can hear them all talking and stuff. And so we've got them, doing all sorts of cool stuff. So one of the things, if I can just go back. So if you come back, if you come back to over where we've got here, this makes you laugh. So come to slightly to your left where it says travel, just to your left. Can you see that?
Yeah, can I pause this?
This is, see where I've gone now. I'm over there by the travel. This has got to be one of my favorites. So here's the class. And we have this sky bus that you can just go on. You just get on it. It's basically, I've made the tube of an airplane. And once you get on the plane, we'll go on the plane. Let's have a look. This is one of my favorites because this is one of the first ones I did. And I talk about that link thing. So what happens here is that this is linked. So the idea being, you can see it on the video wall up there. There's the kids that are in Everest. So we've got a world that's a base camp in Everest, up there. And you can see them all in there. So we use this plane, it's like a airplane classroom, to to locations. And I can share my screen on the board and stuff like that. So this is a working airplane that for them we say get on board. Everybody, the whole class climbs on board. They get really excited. Where are we going? And then we'll move to the next location, which is just a web click away. And that's that thread I was telling you about between the worlds that gives you that links the metaverse or the EDU metaverse.
Each screen is a different location. Each screen is a different location.
No, not on this one. This is in demo mode at the moment. But I don't know if you can hear the stewardess talks. There's a little audio button down the bottom. Let me see if I can work with it. It will sound that like you're on a plane.
Yes.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
So the stewardess comes on and says something. So they've got the suitcases here and stuff. So they'll all come, they'll sit on their chairs. And it's just an immersive experience. They all sit there, then we all say to them, right, this is where we're going. We put the screen up, we do the chalk and talk. We're going to be learning about X, Y, and Z, and away we go. And then, so it's fully immersive.
Yes, you can hear and everything. This is awesome. This is like the world that I wanted to live in when I was a kid too. It was like
you've just hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what it was. And funny enough, I thought to myself the other day, oh my God, I wish I was 8. I wish I was 8 and I could see this through the eyes of myself at 8 years old, I would have lost my mind. And they do, they come on board. And imagine that you've been fed a diet of like Zoom calls and Zoom teaching for 3 or 4 months. And then you get the opportunity to jump in here. And you could run a maths lesson in here, you could run a science lesson. It doesn't matter what you're learning. You're just learning somewhere that is outside of that Zoom environment, you know? And we
Yeah.
do. We teach, whatever. We got. I mean, we got teaching poetry at the base camp of Everest. You know, it doesn't matter what we're doing. We just go to that location and do it. We go. You know, we do maths in the Amazon rainforest. You know, all sorts of cool stuff.
That is so amazing. I mean, Andrew, I cannot wait until this blows up. You are going to
Thank you.
be now, and you know, I don't know why Frame is not going to take you on, because Verbella has. You might as well be contracted them.
I don't know. Look, at the end of I think they've probably got. I think Frame. Obviously, like I said, I've got nothing to do with Frame, but I've also got nothing but high. You know, an opinion of what these guys do. Gabe is amazing. Ravney, all of those guys. It's just been so helpful and so sort of out there when it comes to actually saying, I'm like, do you know, do you think we could do this? They're so open to listening to ideas, you know, and I think that's key. And, you know, you'll say something, this probably would be great if you could do this, and then they'll try and put it into the next update. Just amazing, you know, and that sort of feedback is invaluable, I think. And for them as well, it's great. They've got this, and this is bringing people in. And I know for a fact that people come here and they'll buy an account with Frame. Brilliant, good on them. If it helps those guys out, if it helps me, then it's a, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. So, yeah, I don't know. But the fact is that all of these worlds that I've built are here in Frame. They're also in spatial. They could be in Mozilla hubs. Doesn't matter. I mean, I've already built them. It's if you're not using Frame and you're using something else, it doesn't matter, because I've built everything and I've got like an entire catalog of worlds that will drop into any of those programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Within the virtual reality as well as the 2D space too. So it's progressive. It's something that can
you can
grow with it.
If you've got a headset, you can experience these worlds with a headset. Like I said, if you've got lots that you'd like to give to my class, you know where I am. But,
there you go. There you go.
But it is designed to just come in with a web browser, click, bang, you're in that world.
Absolutely. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I am blown away, Andrew. I'm one of your biggest fans now.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
And I think one of the things that we are doing just as Onyx University, that another metaverse platform, is we want to bring teachers like you to other teachers, and you host classes or that kind of stuff, so that I mean, like you said, this is going to be exponentially spread. You know, it starts with the few crazies, but then as we begin to play, more and more people contribute. So
it's very early days. And I think, the more we can spread. Someone said to me the other day, "Oh, you're the father of the educational metaverse." I was like, "What? I don't think so." And then I started thinking, "Oh, am I that old? Am I the?" Oh God! Sorry.
Well, you are going to have to build yourself a metaverse avatar, and I guess iTeacher is kind of what you're sticking with. You're going to be the iTeacher, like iRobot, but iTeacher.
iTeacher is So funny enough, iTeacher is the company that I've had. It is, again, just me and the dog. So iTeacher is me as a consultant teacher going out as an Apple learning specialist. And originally I was going out and working with Apple to sort of go out and spread the word on using the iPad in schools. So that's where iTeacher comes from. So iTeacher, and then that business expanded. So I sort of gone out on my own, and now I'm sort of as an educative consultant talking about future tech, education 3.0, and doing that. But COVID put the kibosh on it because you couldn't get into schools. And so for months now, I've not been able to get back. And this coming term in February will be the first time I've got back into schools for a long time. Wow. So it's so that iTeacher logo is the business. EDUmetaverse is the dream, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's your world, that's your universe, you're building it. Yeah, one at a time. Yes. Okay. So if you're watching this YouTube video, this podcast, we are going to be on LinkedIn, and then we will share all of the connections, the email, the websites, everything there, so that you can connect with Andrew. Please do, not only if you're a creator and an educator, but also if you are an institution, a learning community, a company that has things that you can collaborate, because this space is about us all coming together. So reach out. That's how we make this happen. So Andrew, we are honored, blessed. Thank you so very much for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And listen, it's affirmation for me when I hear you guys become very excited, because I'm like this to it. I'm so close that I sometimes don't see the bigger picture, and then I doubt myself. And
Yeah.
and then when I hear people like yourself and I hear the students, I'm okay, we're doing the right thing. We're going forward. And this is the right way. So thank you so much.
Yes.
It means a lot that you guys have asked us on. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Absolutely.
We'll do.
Thank you again. Bye-bye, Andrew.
Take care. Thank you.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.